welcome to Monday's Mental Mistakes. This week we're looking at omission bias. The omission bias is the tendency to judge people's actions more strongly than inactions with the same consequences. That is, we see people as more responsible for the things they do rather than the harm they cause through inaction. The omission bias makes us more likely to judge people by the actions that they take. At the same time, we're less likely to judge people by the consequences of inaction. Here's a simple example. Suppose that you are the captain of a spaceship. You have 5 passengers in stasis pods. During your journey, your ship sustains damage and you no longer have enough power to keep all 5 pods active for the rest of the journey. Due to the medical issues involved in keeping someone in stasis, anyone who is brought out of stasis during the journey will die. Your choices are: turn off a stasis pod, killing the person in that pod but saving the other 4, or do nothing. If you do nothing, the power will run out and all the stasis pods will fail, killing all the passengers. What is the moral thing to do? Consider the captain who chose to do nothing. Are they responsible for the deaths of the 5 passengers? If, like most of us, you would have sympathy for their claims that by abstaining they were not responsible, then congratulations, you suffer from the omission bias like the rest of us. Not all differences in how we judge action and inaction come from the omission bias. It's quite possible that you have a well thought out moral system that assigns different levels of responsibility. That's fine. It's also possible that extraneous information in the scenario caused you to think differently of the captain who chose to kill 1 to save 4 versus the captain who refused to choose and allowed 5 to die. The principal way to counter omission bias is to remember to consider the effect that inaction has. Most people would agree that we are responsible, not just for the foreseeable consequences of our actions, but also the foreseeable consequences of our inaction. This is also true of opportunity costs. For example, when a government chooses to spend money on, say, defence, this is money that could have been spent on other things, like, say, education. It is not enough to simply consider the benefits of defence spending without weighing these against the missed opportunities in education spending. There is one rational reason that we discount people's culpability when comparing inaction to action. This is because in any given situation, a person will make one choice, but will fail to make countless other choices. Every choice we take is a multitude of choices not made. To do a complete accounting would require us to consider a near infinite number of options not taken. The solution to this is not to simply dismiss the choices not made, but rather to restrict ourselves to those that were reasonably foreseeable. In conclusion, the omission bias is the tendency to judge people's actions more strongly than inactions with the same consequences. Until next week, may your mental mistakes be minor.